So last night I finished Railgun Season 3, and towards the end, there was one particular span of about 20 minutes that really peeved me really fucking hard. There's a really cool fight that happens in episode 20, and it's primarily between two characters. This Yumiya character, she's chasing these two characters, primarily the mercenary, around the mall, slowly assassinating her by hiding a sniper under her school uniform that is triggered using CO2 emissions. This is why everybody likes Railgun so fucking much. It's because it uses science in really cool ways. And all of Railgun's fans are American, and Americans love mass shootings, and that's kind of what we do. So this sniper is chasing down her victim, putting holes in her back, arms, even blows off half of her ear at one point. Eventually, she gets tricked and exposed, and consequently has to fight the mercenary one-on-one. And the mercenary's main choice of weapons are bombs. Lots of explosions, kicking, and reckless abandon that endangers the lives of several civilians happens. And after some time, the mercenary gets a hold of the situation, and she kicks the sniper out of the building, stuffing bombs in her mouth, showering her in bombs. Needless to say, the fight ends in a bang. But hey, spoiler alert, the bitch didn't die. Wow, who would have thought? And while it's cool that I still get to see this really beautifully designed character on screen, albeit with a Rona ventilator attached to her face to make her look 10 times uglier, I found this very goddamn annoying. Primarily because now you've gotten my attention by raising the stakes, you've expressed the reckless abandon of all of the characters, and you've endangered the lives of hundreds to potentially thousands of civilians, right? All for this to result in a conflict ending with no lives lost. Which makes me question, if you weren't actually going to kill somebody, why did you set the stakes this goddamn high? Now you've subverted my expectations, and I'm underwhelmed. But then not even 20 minutes later, at least not if you're binging, in the next episode, something interesting happens. So in episode 21, two characters meet up, Misaka and Shokuho, and they're talking about this evil villain's potential plans. The synopsis here is that there's some scientist who's basically messing with cybernetics and cyborgs and whatnot, and eventually there's one really interesting moment that happens in the conversation. So around 12 minutes and 15 seconds into the episode, Shokuho is detailing why Misaka should care about this particular conflict, to which she states, now, if you've seen Railgun up to this point, you probably understand why I'm trying to compare and contrast these two particular scenes. But if you've not seen Railgun, this allusion to clones is actually a reference to the Sisters Arc, which is probably the most infamous arc in all of Railgun and its sister series, no pun intended, Index. Here's a very high-level summary of that arc for people that have not seen it. In Academy City, the setting of Railgun's universe, there's a hierarchy of espers ranked in increasing order, with level 0s being normal people with no supernatural abilities, and level 5s being the strongest espers in the entire story. There are 7 level 5s in the entire series, and the series icon and main character Misaka Mikoto ranks 3rd. In the Sisters Arc, scientists were trying to create a level 6 Esper, and by their calculations, this would be possible if the ranked 1 level 5 series icon Accelerator was to kill Misaka Mikoto, the 3rd ranked, 128 times. Now, obviously, he can't kill the same person 128 times. He's not Sooty Tooty. I'm a genius. I'm a pariah. I'm the messiah. I'm a god. I'm built it. So, instead, scientists propose that he can kill a lesser version of Misaka. Clones of Misaka, actually. 20,000 times. Now, Misaka hears about this, and she's not happy, primarily because she sees the clones, specifically clones of herself, as actual people, which means that every clone that dies is a death on her hands. It's a death indirectly caused by her. Now, eventually, Misaka is able to stop the experiment, but it's after 10,000 lives have been lost, many of which are actually shown on screen in really bloody, terrible fashion, and we thus get to see Misaka's face filled with absolute horror and terror. Needless to say, when Shokuho mentioned the possibility of Misaka clones again, the stakes prompting Misaka to involve herself within this conflict dramatically raised, exponentially raised. And this rise in stakes works, because there's a precedence of death for these clones. Now please, ignore the fact that the show immediately lowers all of its goddamn stakes. That said, I want to focus on the setup here, because in principle, it runs in complete opposition to the lack of death in the episode prior, at the mall. So up to this point in Railgun, basically nobody actually dies, except the clones. And I guess that's not inherently a bad thing, right? Because a lot of the appeal of Railgun's fights is not actually within whether or not people die or not. It's within the creativity of the fights and how it chooses to use natural scientific properties to manipulate portions of its environment, or to just create new skills in combat. So, example, Misaka making an iron mech basically by manipulating static electricity to pull iron together and like transform its shape. Or changing the coefficient of friction on your own skin surface so that punches just slide off of you. Things like this are really creative. That all said, if on top of that you're going to heighten the stakes of every conflict by, establishing a life or death scenario, then you better fulfill the life or death scenario. Because when this character survives after having bombs put into her mouth, being kicked out of a window 1,500 feet in the air, and then being showered in bombs that blow up in unison to the ones that she's already ingesting as part of her diet in her mouth, yeah. When she survives with a very minor cosmetic change that's equivalent to equipping a new Overwatch skin, then we have a problem. Because now I start to believe that the precedence of death that you've said actually only applies to clones. And it only applies to conflicts that Misaka Mikoto herself is involved in. And this is the problem with heightening the stakes to heights that are never actually going to be achieved. Threatening death no longer works. Threatening world domination no longer works. Wanna know why? 'Cause I don't believe you. I have no precedence to suggest that you're actually telling me the truth. Which means that now your stakes of death are not actually stakes. They're hollow vegan plot points that are equivalent to basically having no stakes at all. And frankly put, I'm not a vegan, so I'm not trying to get rid of steaks in my diet. I like the occasional steak. I like a ribeye. So, unless you're actually going to fulfill and serve the stakes you promised you would, don't mention them. Because if you do, I'm going to hold you to them. And if you don't actually serve them, what you're actually going to get me to believe in is not high quality steak made out of Kobe beef. What you'll actually be getting me to believe in is a low calorie, non-steaks salad from Kroger's. Nigga, where's the meat?